Yeah, it's kind of night and day. I mean, when you think about, and I'm not that old, but but on the other hand, as a young journalist, I mean, where the internet was more or less non-existent, and everything was paper file based, and now you're seeing just so much available on the web. Through governmental agencies, through organizations, kind of you name it. And I think it just speeds up the process. I mean, the reality is, once upon a time, it was very easy to tell people, oh, we've got to make you copies, and it's going to take this amount of time, and and it could be used as a delay tactic. Now more and more information is available just on the spot. I mean, everything from police records to mugshots and things like that, and again, it's about putting information in people's hands where they can use it quicker. And I think, again, a lot of government officials, they see that. I think with some things, with law enforcement, how they make stuff more available, they understand maybe the importance of the value of their constituents, of their citizens, getting information quicker. I mean, the scary thing about technology, is that it's easy to manipulate stuff. Look, we dealt with an admissions problem here at the college, where it's like data was changed. I mean, the reality is it can be. And I think also it just, when somebody might be looking, it makes you a little bit more honest. So you never know when a journalist might walk in the door, might ask about something. So even if I'm not looking through all these emails, that somebody could. Yeah, I mean, it has to be a legal issue because, without these laws, I mean, there would just be so much information not put out there. I mean, that's just the reality, I mean, those laws are there because, government officials wouldn't do this on their own if they didn't have to. And I think the point, though, is that the industry can be ethical about it. This shouldn't be, well, we don't want to put information out there because we think journalists are going to do something bad with it. That's not an issue because, journalists are very ethical. And so I think that's sometimes used as maybe, kind of a scapegoat. Oh, we can't trust journalism. Mainstream media is just bad. They're going to, and that's baloney. Yeah, and I think that all goes back to ethics, and I think and there have been stories, and there's always instances where you're not going to report something, and maybe there's good reason or whatnot. But the reality is, I don't think that's government's role to decide what can and can't be disseminated to the public. I mean, really, the question should be what's in the public's best interest, not what's in the public official's best interest. And honestly, it's, I think government too often thinks that way, and the reality is journalists aren't just running around because they just want scoops and they want, they want the story. It's, again, all back to the public. I think something you said that strikes me, I think is always a mistake we make as journalists, is we say, this is the right of a journalist, and I think it's not the right of a journalist, it's the right of citizens, and really all we're doing is exercising this in again, a reader or a viewer's interests. And so I think sometimes the public doesn't even understand that. They kind of think, oh, but that's journalists fighting for some right of theirs. It's like, really, the right is to get information to you. I don't think there are a lot of situations where you worry about irresponsibility in journalism. So I don't think that's government's role to go and decide, yeah, this is or isn't what you can do. I think the industry can take care of itself. It can make good decisions.